Recorded live with little or no editing. It's Defense Up. I'm Run 7. How you doing? Today we're going over Guesty's defense. Now, I want to point out something to you guys. Here at Defense Up, we like to try and cover the average, right? The majority of the player base and how to get the most value out of your defense without overspending, without trying to build something crazy, huge, big. But if you're in a top 50, maybe top 100 alliance, or if you're an alliance that is super hyper competitive in war and you actually enjoy spending your money, spending your time and energy and in-game resources on building up your defense, then go check out Dorky Dad's line of defense videos. He just started putting out some really good videos covering the very high end of war defense, where he'll show you how to build the supreme meta stuff. He's a very, very talented player, and it's some really good information for you guys. But if you're interested in getting value out of your roster, if you're a newer player, mid-game player, that you're here, you've arrived, and we're going to show you how to not waste your resources on some stuff like this. Team number 1, we grade on 5 different criteria: who you're using, their placement, their power levels, their ISOs, and what kind of mood I am in. This is a shield mostly team with some Inhumans. So you've got Coulson, who does stuff to shield members, which is these three. And then you've got the Inhuman synergy with Black Bolt and Yo-Yo, which is really good. This isn't too bad, actually. There's a lot of things going on here that are pretty beneficial. The problem I have with it are the ISOs. She needs to be a level 5 skirmisher, making sure that her offense down sticks on every enemy turn. He needs to be a striker so that he rewinds turn meter, or a raider laying out vulnerables for somebody like Black Bolt to work off of. But I think you're going to make him a striker, keep him a striker, keep him a skirmisher, or go raider. Skirmisher level 5 to make sure the blinds stick, or raider to get out more vulnerables, do more damage. He does have some crit stuff built into his kit, so there's some synergy there. I recommend the higher level skirmisher for him and the high level skirmisher for her. So you'd have 2 people putting up vulnerables and 2 people soaking them up, and then you have the healer in here. Now, medic is pretty weak, and you don't have anybody taunting, so they're gonna go right into medic. Actually, medic will probably get wiped out by an AoE is what'll happen, but medic revives Coulson 100% of the time on turn, so that's something to do. Or maybe it's on her heal. I'm not sure if it's turn or her one move, but it's like every other turn or every turn, I don't know. Anyway, that's what she's there for. So you could replace medic with somebody a little more OP, like maybe Crystal or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, it's not bad, but your ISOs are pretty screwed up. I'm going to give you a C for this. That's going to take some work. You kind of wasted a lot, especially putting Fortifier on Coulson. That was a terrible choice right there. Team number 2 is the Black Order. We've got more Fortifier where we don't really want it. I guess your Obsidian is kind of small, so I guess Fortifier is okay, but you didn't really need to go. You wanted to make him war ready, I guess. I would have rather seen you invest him up a few gear levels, like gear tier 12. Put a little more points into him that way, rather than wasting the ions. But I don't know. I mean, later in the game, maybe we'll have a flood of green ions or something. I don't like the Fortifier on people who don't use it very well. He's better as a striker. Thanos is better as a raider, in my opinion, but all 5 of those work pretty well. I think you need to move Thanos next to Obsidian so you catch the splash damage and trigger his retaliation. And then Ebony Maw needs to be a skirmisher, not a raider. And you got skirmisher striker right there. So 3 ISOs that need to be changed, could be changed, probably should be changed. And then I'd like to see a little bit more investment in this team. It's still a pretty powerful team. It can be useful in a lot of places. It is totally unnecessary, though, so you don't have to invest in it if you don't want to. You already went war ready on those ISOs, so I don't know. Maybe just forget about the team, man. I don't know. You could. It's not that good of a team to invest in. So you could just leave it, but the one thing that you can do for sure is change the placement right there. That'll give you some value at no additional cost. I'm going to go C- on this. I don't like those ISOs. Don't like the direction you went with the team. So moving on, team number 3 is the Wave 1 Avengers. You got these guys as healers in the right position. You got her in the right position as a striker. She can be a striker. I prefer her as a skirmisher, but I won't dock you for it. Over here, Iron Man as a raider. I don't know what ISO Iron Man should be because I don't ever use him. He's crap. You know, he belongs in the dumpster, unfortunately. He's one of the worst characters in the game, and he's a legendary character. It's crazy. He does have the Avengers tag, so I guess he fits on this team, sort of. And then you've got Thor as a skirmisher. I'd prefer Thor as a raider. That would give you more chances for her to work as a striker. But But you got two people putting vulnerables out and her soaking them up. I mean, I guess this works. I just think if you're going to get serious about building up Thor, he should probably be a Raider. This is okay, though. I think I can give you an A- for this. It's not my favorite, but it works. It's not horribly wrong. It works. All right, moving on. Let's go team number 4, which is the Asgardians, and you took Thor off of this and replaced it with Minerva. I think you're wasting Minerva on this team. I think this team is going to fold no matter what. Greg's a liability. The only thing you got going on for you is the low power level. No one's going to want to waste a speed meta team on something this small. If they do have a speed meta team that's about this size, it may not have the right T4s to get it going fast enough to be effective against this, but it is kind of... It's kind of going to get blown out of the water pretty easy. I think you should save Minerva for something else. I think you should break up this team. Put these two in the dumpster. I think you should use Hela on an offensive team and Loki on an offensive team or a defensive speed meta kind of team. He adjusts the speed of a whole bunch of different characters, those Mystic controllers, so you can plug him in someplace and like make Cersei go first before Icarus to soften up a team on a defense, something like that. That's a waste of Minerva. She's not adding a lot of value. She does pair with Greg pretty well, but that's more of an offensive build because people are going to target Greg, get the speed going, and just blow this team up. Also, you have her as a striker that only works on the 5-piece because with 5 Asgardians, he throws out a skirmisher. As a skirmisher, he throws out a vulnerable and a taunt, and then she goes into the taunt with a double tap and really does some damage. But without Thor here, it doesn't work. So you might as well switch her to a Raider if you're not going to use the 5-piece. And again, I don't think anybody should use the 5-piece unless your alliance is specifically trying to soak up speed meta teams for a reason. So for me, healer over here and healer over here, those are terrible. It should be Raider and Raider. And then her as a healer, and then I like her as a Raider. So for me, this is a C+ at best, and that's just assuming that your alliance leader wants you to soak up some speed meta teams. Team number 5 is the Marauders with a little bit of the Brotherhood mixed in. This is a pretty good one. Okay, so you have like a funky power level going on, and because of that funky power level, you've got the right ISOs. So Fortifier on Strife, that's how it should be. And then you've got Juggernaut, who's going to pick up that taunt pretty early, and that's a good thing because it looks like Strife's probably going to fold easy. He's half the power of most of these guys. Then Juggernaut picks up that taunt and carries it, so you've got him as a Fortifier. You could make him a Raider, but I kind of like Fortifier with these power levels. And then you've got Magneto popping blinds off early. That's good. You should go ahead and take him to a level 5 skirmisher so that the blinds stick. He's a healer. That's good. And you've got her set up as a skirmisher for future content. I like that. I like the placement. I like the ISOs that you're using. Probably bring him up one more. And then this team is really good. It's okay. I mean, there are better things you can do, but I like this one. What's up, Tapateo? Thank you for the follow. All right. So that's all right. I'm digging this. I'm going to go ahead and give you an A. I think there's some room for improvement, but I don't want to be too harsh on this one. Team number 6 is the Mercs. I think you should change this guy to a striker since you already have the skirmisher striker combo going on with your Taskmaster. And then I don't know what you're doing making sure you're a Raider. She has no business being a Raider. None whatsoever. It's either a skirmisher, a healer, or a fortifier. And skirmisher is really not a good one. That's just for the niche if you need to plant a vulnerable for somebody in a raid. And then healer is probably the best one for this build. And then fortifier if you're running her in the high-end raids where you need her to survive. So big waste of ISOs there on that. This isn't a big waste. You can leave it if you want, but I kind of like putting him as a striker to get a little more damage out of that Taskmaster. Otherwise, your placement is pretty good. Yeah, your placement's really good, actually. I like that. So I'm going to go with a B+ on this. I really want you to change that ISO on Shuri. Coming up... Oh, Tapateo coming in with a subscription. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Okay, team number 7 is the Doc Ock Sinister 6. I really hate seeing this on defense. Although, more and more people are putting their speed meta teams back on defense because there's enough offensive teams, they don't need them anymore. And this does get DVs at the low level. So, watch your history. If this is getting you lots of defensive victories, keep it. If it's folding to speed meta teams, get rid of it. Put him on a hybrid. Like, I kind of like him on like the SA with Captain America, right? Lots of blocking, lots of healing going on. I think that's a superb team. I run it to this day. However, as this team goes, you've got 3 Raiders and 2 healers, no strikers at all. Okay, you need to switch somebody to a striker to take advantage of those vulnerables. Let's change... I don't know. Let's change Shocker to a striker. Yeah, let's change Shocker to a striker, then leave the other 2. Probably the way to go. And then I like Rhino as a Raider rather than a healer. He's too slow to give off any heals. It's just not going to give you anything. And then Doc Ock is fine. I do like Rhino adjacent to Doc Ock for the cleanse. That's a good one. If you want Rhino off to the side for his taunt, then just move him off to the side, but keep Doc Ock in the back row adjacent to Rhino for that cleanse in case they try to put a blind or a stun or something like that in there. It's not terrible, but I do need another striker on this team. I'm not super excited about it. I'm just going to give you a B for that. Team number 8 is the Hydra with Zemo. I'd like to see a little bit more investment. Bring these guys up into the purple rings, make them on par with Red Skull, and then you're going to have a really effective defense that's going to be tough, and people are going to have to utilize other things. They'll still probably one-shot it, but you'll see a lot bigger teams coming into this. Because right now, they can just come into something like some big junk they could throw at this, like a 500 mishmash of leftover stuff, and just kill these 2 people over and over and over until they get to Red Skull and get him. Yeah. It is tough with Zemo in here. Zemo makes this team better, but honestly, I'd also like to see you throw another minion in here and use Zemo on offense. Zemo is so important in today's wars for so many different hybrid counters and stuff like that. You know, that YA with X Factor and Zemo going into YA, that's important. So definitely want to pull him for offense. As for the ISOs, I can deal with Striker. I kind of like Skirmisher, but I can deal with Striker. I can deal with Fortifier here. That's okay. Over here, you have Grenadier as a striker. That's perfect. It's good synergy with Zemo. If you're going to have Zemo on this defense, you should definitely have Grenadier on this defense too, because he's assisting Zemo as a skirmisher. Double tapping, clearing positive effects. Really powerful combo right there. I kind of like that. So I am going to give you an A- for this. There's nothing atrociously wrong. You could change this guy to a Fortifier for a little bit better effect, especially at this low power level. I think maybe you should. Otherwise, I like the ISOs you're using on all those. Really good. Fantastic job. We're going to move on to team number 9, Web Warriors. Perfect. Looks great. Raider on everybody, Striker on Miles. That's a good choice. For those of you building the team, you can also go Skirmisher on OG Spider-Man to make his stun stick. Doesn't need to happen. I like this build. I can give you an A for that. Heroes for hire on team number 10. We have Healer, Fortifier, Raider, Striker, Skirmisher. Those are good enough. I prefer doing a Skirmisher or Raider on Iron Fist because all of the counters that come into this use a lot of heal block. You don't get a lot of benefit out of him being a healer. Having a vulnerable for people to play off of, for this Calling Wing to play off of, is usually better. You get a little more damage out of the team. Fortifier on Luke Cage is because he's dying and reviving, and you get all that barrier on revive, which makes him that much tougher to get through. Always remember to keep your Shang-Chi off of the corner, keep your Luke Cage off of the corner, and then the placement really doesn't matter. I've got several people telling me very, very good reasons for several different placements on this. So as long as Luke Cage isn't in the corner, as long as Shang-Chi isn't in the corner, I really don't care. So I can give you an A for that team. Good job. This has been Guesty's Defense Up video. If you like what you saw, hit like, subscribe. That really does help me out. And remember, guys, don't just have a good game. Be good to yourselves and others too. And I will catch you next time. Bye.